Hey guys, it's Katie here, and I have a super fun reveal just for you. This is the official reveal of my secret ingredient mystery knit along from this year. Just a little backstory. Every year I do a mystery knit along, and it starts on my birthday because where else would I rather spend my birthday than knitting with all of you lovely people? So, this year's ended at the very end of March, so gave some more time for everybody to finish up and whatnot before I condensed the pattern into one file instead of clue form. So I am going to reveal what the finished objects look like. Now this year we had a choice of shapes. I like to always try to make my patterns more inclusive to everyone, and I think that's something we're just going to be working on forever. I don't think that's ever going to be done. I kept seeing on everybody else's mystery knits that were wraps. Everybody's like, really don't enjoy knitting wraps, or I don't really like wearing them, so I'm going to sit out. And the same thing with shawls. Everybody's like, I'd really rather have a wrap. Don't really wear shawls that much. I'm going to sit out. Well, why don't I combine them? Why don't we have a choice? So that's what I started doing, and I think it's probably going to stick. It was very, very popular. And I had about 50-50 knit up, the wraps or the shawl. So it was very popular. So we're going to keep that around. For the big reveal, since we had a food-themed mystery knit along this year, and it's called the Secret Ingredient, your choice of shapes were dish 1 or dish 2. Dish 1 was a wrap. Dish 2 is a shawl. So we will reveal dish 1 first. So dish 1 was a wrap, and everybody started with the same clue 1, which may or may not happen each year. That I'm not sure of, but this year, anyway, we're focusing on this year. This year, dish 1 was a wrap, and it was big, like parallelogram-y shaped wrap. It's kind of really hard to get in one shot. I can't really back up too much more to get it all in here, but it's a big guy. It's really nicely sized so that you can wrap it around yourself several different ways, and it's not too short. So for this one, I used Miss Babs Putnam in 3 colors. I started with my color A was Dark Pegasus. My punchy contrast color was Mahi Mahi, which is this lovely teal. And then I contrasted them both with White Peppercorn. So this was my high contrast punchy version. Like I said, it's a great size. Throw it on, if I get it the right way. So it's a great size. You can definitely wrap it around yourself nicely and hangs down nice. You don't have to be too fussy with like pulling it down. Oh my gosh. And the ends are all the way up here. So wrap it around. There's no up or down. Can be either way. You can definitely wrap around your shoulders if you want to. It's a pretty generous wrap. And you can also just toss it around. So there's many options. I definitely didn't want the size to limit you in how you wear it. Because I know a lot of times people don't like wraps that are too short because then they're no longer a wrap. You might as well just sew the ends together and make a infinity cowl of sorts. But this guy has a lot of options. As you can see, this is my high contrast sample. I definitely wanted to make one in punchier colors, but the pattern would also look good in more muted tonals, which you're going to see in dish 2. We have a choice of dishes. We saw dish 1. Now we're going to see dish 2. Dish 2 is a shawl. If you don't like knitting or wearing wraps, which is totally understandable, you have a shawl. A nice, big, beautiful triangular shawl. So definitely stand back so you can see her in all her glory. But this one was more tonal, and this one I used my Secret Ingredient on. When I was working up the first sample of this, I got through this whole first part, and I was like, the colors are a little flat. And I just needed something. That's where the Secret Ingredient came in. I was like, light bulbs went off. Why don't I hold a mohair with it? So you can see the fuzzy on it. I held Miss Bab's Moon Glow and Sparkling Sands with my Putnam. Now, very tonal, I went with this. My color A, which is this tanny gray, is Lace Murex. My color B, which is this mauve, is Dark Adobe. And then my color C which is my lightest, is Sea Dragon. Those are all in Putnam. My Secret Ingredient is Miss Bab's Moon Glow and Sparkling Sands. If you choose to use the Secret Ingredient, it will be held with color A throughout the entire shawl. And you'll see in my third sample where I used a much more variegated mohair, and it gave a totally different look. But back to dish 2. This is a big, beautiful triangular shawl. And I wanted to give you the option to see this pattern in a much more tonal way. As you can see, it's very big. You can cuddle it up, snuggle it up, or you can pull it down more so you see more of the different patterns. But it's definitely generous in size, but not too big. I'm a smaller person, so I don't like the shawls that are just huge. I can't wear them. I can't utilize them. So I will occasionally make a bigger, larger shawl for that punch factor. But I really wanted to utilize with this one the more tonal colors and show you don't have to knit high contrast. It will also look good in more muted tonals. In dish 1, I did not use a Secret Ingredient. I didn't think it needed it. I wanted to show that you don't have to. It can still be beautiful without. But if you want to add that punch, it's there. Now, each year I knit along with all you lovely people. And I did specifically buy a set of Miss Bab's Putnam and Moon Glow to knit along with everyone. And they were prettier colors. This was the set that I had purchased to specifically knit with everyone. And they're pretty. And it's something I felt that I could wear very easily and wouldn't have to necessarily style a whole bunch. But then I saw everybody, picking, stash diving and picking all of these random skeins from their stash and putting them together, and I was jealous because they were beautiful. So I had picked a few favorites, and I put a poll up on Instagram, and overwhelmingly everyone was like, you need to do this one. So I felt peer pressured into it, and I'm glad I did because it turned out beautiful. Definitely colors that I necessarily wouldn't have jumped on myself. I wanted to go with the other option, but I'm just so glad I did. I'm glad I gave into the peer pressure in this situation. And I was a very good girl, and I kept up with everybody until a third of the way through clue 5. Then dips got in the way, life got in the way, and I literally just finished last week and blocked it. So this was my third sample, and this was my knit along version. I chose to knit dish 2 because I felt I would like a second option in the shawl rather than the wrap. I don't wear wraps as much as I wear shawls. So these were the colors that everybody chose. Super amazing. I will list the colors up here because I am brain dead and can't remember them. So with my knit along sample, I chose to go big and bold. And I chose a highly variegated mohair to hold over a solid green. I didn't follow along and use my secret ingredient with color A, which is this purple. I used it with my color C. I wanted that extra punch and fluff factor in different places. So you don't necessarily have to follow the suggestions of using it with color A. You can certainly put it wherever the heck you want to. So it added just an extra depth to different parts of the pattern. And then I really wanted color A at the end to be by himself. So I am very happy with how it turned out. I think it's just so wearable, and I really am happy I gave in to the peer pressure of these colors. I think they are great, and this is such a big shawl that you can tuck up, you know, your first couple clues, or you can pull them out and make the others less noticeable. There's just a lot of options. It's very big and very wearable, and I like it. So I do want to thank the outside people that made this mystery knit along a success this year. I had 5 dyers make up beautiful kits, Miss Babs, as they do every year. Then I had the Plucky Knitter create absolutely gorgeous kits, which you've seen me use several times, and I still have some replicas in my stash because I needed them. We also had Red Door Fibers create beautiful kits, and the Golden Pearls and Andrea at the Sheep Graffiti. All beautiful. Some are still available with them, and definitely go check them out. My recent obsession with Kelsey's Charms at the Littlest Charm Company. I was busy back in 2024 because I do these, I develop the patterns and fully write them and have them done about 6 months prior so that testers can really dig through the clues. So hopefully there's, next to no corrections. And I was sitting at my computer, working up, pulling graphics and all that jazz. And I just took a picture of my computer screen and the one little chef kitty that was up there. And I had messaged it to Kelsey, and I'm like, is there any way you'd be interested in making a charm for my mystery knit along for this year? And she was like, hold the phone. Like, it wasn't even an hour later, she sent me prototypes of what became Chef Sydney. Is the most adorable freaking little chef cat ever. Like, she even has a little tail. Like, it's so freaking cute. She exactly matched the graphics that I used, and she became our little mascot for our mystery knit along. She's still in her shop. I want to give Kelsey a huge shout out and show her some love. I know her shop may be open, may not be at the given time. She takes tons of orders. And she's signed on to do all of our future mystery knit alongs too. And I already have the prototype for the charm for next year's. And it's amazing. But that's for my eyes only right now. So that was another huge, success with our mystery knit along was the little Chef Sydney charms, and I know so many of you got them. So I definitely want to thank the dyers, and I want to thank Kelsey and my lovely testers who tested each dish of this mystery knit. In this mystery knit along, we had a little bit of everything. You had your mosaic knitting, you had your eyelets, you had your twisted cables, you had simple color work ribbing, There's just a little bit of everything. So it kind of covered all the bases, and maybe it pushed you a little bit to learn something new or something you weren't necessarily comfortable with, but are glad that you took on the challenge in the end. We had 5 clues. They kicked off January 29th on my birthday and totally finished on March 29th. We had 10 days in between each clue, and then a little week extra buffer at the end to give everybody some catch-up time because life. If you have not purchased this pattern, I have condensed the clues. They have gone bye-bye, flown away. You will, when you purchase this pattern, you will now have 3 files. One file for dish 1, which is the wrap, 1 file for dish 2, which is the shawl, and then 1 file containing all of the recipes that I included in each clue. Each clue had, at the end, had a recipe that my family loves. That's super easy. We always are putting in our rotation. Feel free to check out on the Katie Degroff Knits group on Ravelry. There was a recipe thread. People were sharing different either recipes that they really liked or tips and tricks that they found really helpful, that they love. So definitely go check those out. But back to what I was saying before. When you do purchase the pattern, now you will see 3 clues, and there's a pattern update sent out to everyone. So if you did knit along and you want to get rid of the clues and you want 1 file, they're there. Any part that could have a chart is charted and written. The entire thing is written out. So you have 3 files, dish 1, dish 2, and the recipes. It is also available now on Etsy. I can't sell mystery knit-alongs on Etsy because there's no real way to update the pattern in a timely fashion, and they do limit you on files. So that's a real bummer. But now it's available there. The pattern is on sale until Sunday, July 13th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. It is 25% off, no code needed, on both Ravelry and Etsy. That being said, I did reveal next year's theme for the 2026 Mystery Knit Along. If you did not catch my podcast with it on it, it is rainbows and unicorns. Now, don't think that I'm going 100% girly on this one, because I'm not really a girly girl. I'm not. But I am keeping the choice of shapes, and I have to knit one of them in a rainbow. I just have to. But the other is going to be knit in just 3 colors. So you have the option. Not all dyers carry minis, and not everybody wants a necessary rainbow or gradient or multicolor exactly. So I'm giving you that choice as well. I will be revealing more clues soon, and stay tuned for that. I hope everybody had a fantastic time with their secret ingredients, and it's a great shawl to knit up in the future if you want to. There's a lot going on, so it keeps your mind interested without being overwhelmed. It's definitely in doable chunks. Looks great in high contrast or tonal. There's a shawl, there's a wrap, some for everybody. So I am going to go and, maybe play around with next year's. So an oogle on the yarn that I have over there, which is for it. And there may be a clue in this little Target basket over here. There is a graphic, one of our kitty graphics on a t-shirt. Yeah, a freaking t-shirt. We're going to have t-shirts this year. I get no monetary compensation from them whatsoever. That the lovely designers that design the kitties I use every year, I found they have a TeePublic shop. So, yeah, I'm going to totally link that and blast them and, share the love to them. More details coming soon. Keep an eye out on my Instagram and here on YouTube. And in the meantime, I hope everybody has fun knitting up their secret ingredients.